Guys, what is going on? Back up here for another video today here on my channel. I'm going to be doing my Q&A video, so thank you to everybody that has asked your questions, and without further ado, let's not waste any time, guys. Let's get started. So the first question here comes from TN Couponer. Thank you for asking your questions. What is your dream job? That is a very interesting question. My dream job? Gotta think about that one. Actor? I think that would be a pretty incredible job. I mean, just from doing the stunt work and the limited projects that I've worked on, it's just so much fun. It's just such a creative outlet to go out there and express oneself. So I'd have to say actor, because you really be anything that you want to be. And what is your thoughts on AEW's first episode on TNT? Well, if you want to know my thoughts, check out my review. Don't worry, I'm not going to do that. My thoughts were it was a solid show. It laid the groundwork for what was to come next week. The start of the tag team tournament. We got John Moxley in action. I really liked potential tease of a Jericho-led faction. That would be something different that we've never seen before. I thought it really fired on all cylinders. It drew a 1.4 million viewership rating, so that was very impressive to see. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed AEW Dynamite and will be watching in the weeks to come. So thank you for your questions. Robbie One Kenobi, thank you for your questions, Robbie. Question number 1 here. Do you feel that the inclusion of his relationship with Becky Lynch ultimately hurt Seth Rollins during his first reign as Universal Champion? Not so much. I mean, I would say I wasn't a big fan of when they brought the relationship up, but I felt like Seth was kind of making an ass out of himself on Twitter, just with the stupid potshot remarks that he made to guys like Will Ospreay, and it's just like, I don't know, just the comments here and there, and talking about, John Moxley leaving and taking, food off my table. I mean, it's just like, Seth, what are you doing here? I don't think it helped that he was, early on booked against, Baron Corbin for 2 straight pay-per-views, and then he just went back with the stuff with Lesnar, and I just felt like that was kind of like retreading, ground we already covered. So I really feel like it was just Seth himself more so than the relationship with Becky Lynch that kind of, dug his own grave. Question number 2. What are some of your favorite Halloween films and TV specials to watch each year? I did like the Halloween Town specials on Disney Channel. Was a big fan of those back in the day. I also like Don't Breathe. It's a pretty scary Halloween movie about, well, it's not so much Halloween, but it's a good horror movie about 3 teenagers that try and rob a blind guy, and bad things happen to them when they try and break into this guy's house. It's a really good movie. Don't Breathe. Check it out. Of course, Charlie Brown Halloween episode. Great Pumpkin, classic, and Nightmare Before Christmas with Jack Skellington. I love Tim Burton, and I'm a huge fan of that movie. So those are just a couple of the Halloween specials episodes that I like to watch. Is there any type of music you listen to that gets you pumped when working with Kane Action Team? Specifically, I'd say Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, throw in some hair metal here and there, maybe some Motley Crue, some Van Halen, some Skid Row, some Poison. Those are just a couple bands off the top of my head that I listen to and that really get me in that next zone and just get me ready to kick ass, take names, and take sick, death-defying falls. 4. If WWE brings back general managers for the upcoming draft, who would you like to see run Raw and SmackDown? I really honestly hope that they don't bring back general managers. I like not having to worry about the authority figures, and just like, to me, the focus should be on the wrestlers and their feuds. I'm tired of the heel authority figures. Even if you just do a babyface authority figure. If you held a gun to my head and said, okay, who would you like to see run Raw? Who would you like to see run SmackDown? I think you have him employed. He's the executive producer. Just have Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman. But who would be great to run Raw? Stone Cold Steve Austin. I love seeing Stone Cold as the GM and the sheriff back in the day. It's not going to happen, but I would love to see Austin as the GM. The legacy of the Intercontinental Championship being celebrated throughout September. Who are your 3 favorite IC champions of all time? Boy, that is a really good question, Robbie. It's hard to believe that the Intercontinental Championship, is 50 years old. Tremendous legacy. Kind of sad to see the state that it's in now. I mean, Nakamura's champion, but he doesn't really feel like that big of a deal. It's just like, meh, okay, Nakamura's champion. And, you have a belt, but it doesn't really matter. And sorry, the Intercontinental title is 40 years old, not 50. I wanted to correct that. But just looking at some of the different champions here that we've had over, we've had a lot of champions. Just some of the favorites off the top of my head. You got to think Mr. Perfect. I mean, when I think of Intercontinental Champion, I think of Mr. Perfect. You also got to think of Bret Hart. And I would also say Shawn Michaels. Those are just three of the names. And you got to throw Chris Jericho in there. I believe he's won the most Intercontinental Championships of all time. I believe he's up there. If not the top guy. But yeah. Chris Jericho holds the most reigns with 9. And thank you for asking the questions, Robbie. Matt Rossman, hey, what's going on, brother? First question here. How's Ohio treating you? Fantastic. It is great to be here on my own here in Akron, Ohio. Being up here making movies, training, doing stunts. I mean, it is everything that I've wanted and more. So Ohio could not be treating me better. It really could not. Favorite thing about filming movies? I'd say just the creative aspect of it, coming up with something on the fly, and really just that spontaneity. And when you are able to put together a scene and get that put on film, I mean, it is a truly worthwhile experience from start to finish. Really, just watching the entire process of filmmaking is something truly incredible. If you've never been in a movie, out there, guys watching, it is truly something fun. If it's a passion of yours, I definitely recommend you get out there and try it. Question number 3. Your favorite wrestler in WWE and AEW. Currently in WWE, my favorite wrestler. There's a lot of them. But my number one guy. That's tough. I'd still have to go with Daniel Bryan. Love Daniel Bryan. And in AEW, I gotta go with Chris Jericho. Always till the end of time will be one of my all-time favorites. Will Jericho be? How do you feel about the name AEW Dynamite? I think it's great. I think it rolls off the tongue. I think it fits. You're going to be on TNT. Just like AC/DC said, Dynamite, TNT, win that fight. But yeah, I like the name AEW Dynamite. I think it, I'm getting used to it already. And he says he's pumped for the live review. And yeah, if you didn't see our AEW Dynamite review, be sure to check out that review with me and my good friend Matt Rossman. It is up here now on youtube.com/DanielGiza412. So what are you guys doing? You need to watch that review. But thanks for the questions, Matt. And finally, questions from my good friend Mike Gregario. Question 1. Who else do you think should go back to NXT? Well, Finn Balor, and he's back there. The Revival, Ember Moon. Who else off the top of my head here would benefit? I think Cesaro would be great in NXT. There's a lot of good talent on that main run. Nakamura. Not really doing too much with him. Those are just a couple talents off the top of my head that I feel would benefit from going back to NXT. If you're a wrestler, do you think you would thrive as a face or a heel? I think babyface. I think I'm just naturally I hope I'm naturally a likable guy. I could try being a heel. think it would be fun, but I think naturally just who my personality is, you know, genuine nice guy, I just think that's something that I would easily gravitate towards and thrive as a babyface. Who do you think should win the 2020 Royal Rumble? Boy, that is coming up, and that'll be here before you know it. I mean, it'll already be January, and we'll be like talking about who's ready to win the Rumble. Just off the top of my head, the Fiend. The Fiend should win the Royal Rumble. Book it. Book it, Vince. Who do you see winning the Stanley Cup this year? Well, I have to say the Penguins. I mean, for being honest, I mean, did you expect any other answer? It's the Penguins. I can't pick any other team. Or the Hawks. Either or. Penguins, Hawks. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. And final question here. What's the next finisher on your bucket list you want to take for a bump? Ooh, good question. Good question. I've taken quite a few. You know, if I could take it safely, a tombstone. That would be a challenge, though. But if I could try it, I would say a tombstone. So that does it, guys, for this Q&A video. I apologize I couldn't be live. Like I said, I'm still trying to get the bugs worked out here on my internet. So once I get my streaming fixed, I will be back up here for live videos. But until then, just going to use this method of recording and then uploading to YouTube. So thank you all for checking out this Q&A video. Thank you for submitting your questions here on youtube.com/DanielGiza412. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at DanielGiza412. Check out Facebook.com/DanielGiza1994. Links can be found down below in the description box. Until then, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I am out. See you guys.